EM23GX Gridline, Echo Mike 0102.
Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey going 55, 55 into my plus Charlie Alpha 1043, over.
Hi, I'm Jim, Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, and today I thought I'd talk to you about working grid lines since I recently did one. So let me bring up a map here so we can talk about this a little bit. This is a website you can go to, and I'll have the links to all this stuff in the description of the video here. But this is I'm going to assume that you're already an amateur radio operator and somewhat familiar with the Maidenhead Gridsquare system, which is what this is. This is the highest level, which essentially this grid maps the whole world into a grid system. And this highest level here has about, I think it's 324, they call them squares or grid squares, represented by a 2-letter designation. And each one of these can be broken down into 100 subsquares, which are numbered 00 to 99. Those can then be broken down, et cetera, into even more and get smaller and smaller and smaller as you go. The 4-character grid square designation is what's typically used, especially when we're talking about satellites, satellite communications, and operators exchanging call signs and their grid squares. Each of these grid squares is actually not really a square, but it's more of a rectangle. But each one represents a 1 degree in latitude by 2 degree in longitude, or roughly 70 by 100 miles. And we use these grid squares for various awards and to see where people are and that kind of thing. And people collect these for, like I say, awards for, there's a VUCC award for working 100 grid squares, and then there's the coveted Grid Master Award if you're able to work all 488 grid squares in the continental United States, which is actually pretty hard. A few of these are, the only way you can get to them is by boat or plane. You can't actually drive, but they cover an area that's just like a small island or something, but it's still United States. What I did a couple weeks ago, I was going to do a Parks on the Air activation, and let me zoom in on this here a little bit. As you can see, when I zoom in, you can start seeing these subsquares. So I actually live in Echo Mike 13, and I was going to do I did a Parks on the Air activation up here, just barely into Echo Mike 24, which is also just barely in Oklahoma. There's a town called Hugo, and you can see it's right there close to this grid line right here between Echo Mike 23 and Echo Mike 24. And this lake right here is Hugo Lake, and there's a state park that covers this area right in here. So I did that, but I also figured, well, I wonder if I can work this grid line somewhere. It's not in the state park, but I could still do a grid line activation for people that are hunting and need Echo Mike 23 and 24. So as a rover, I figured, that's what we call people that go out and activate grids that you don't live in. I went out and started looking as where can I set up and do a grid line activation. So one of the tools that I use is this one right here. This, and again, this from f5len.org, and it goes and you can kind of zoom in and look at stuff. And then I also use obviously Google Maps to kind of look at stuff and see what's where. Here's Hugo, because sometimes it'll give different information. You can kind of see, oh, there's a Walmart, this kind of stuff. This is the park. And then the other favorite tool, of course, is Google Earth. Let's see if I've got it here somewhere. All right, so here's Google Earth. I'll bring this up. I think I already unchecked all the other spaces I've got on here and left just some that I had marked for this particular activation. These were a little far out, so I'm not going to count those. Yeah, now you can actually show some of the grid line stuff on Google Earth. I think it's, let's see, if I show, view and grid, and you can see it doesn't give you the exactly what I'm looking for though, but it gives you an idea, like 34, 0, 36, that kind of thing. I turn that off. So you start looking, and I know I need between Echo Mike 23 and Echo Mike 24 is where I want to be. And you have to be right on the grid line. And I'll show you some of the rules and stuff for that here in a little bit. But I found once you get close, you can start looking at things. And with Google Earth, of course, you can do a street view. But what I like to do is, just create one of these little place marks, and you can move it around and kind of see where you're at. Or you can actually type it in. If I start moving this around, it's like, okay, let me get to 3400. Right there's one. So that spot would be good. I'd be on the grid line right there. You can tell this kind of lines up with some other things here too. So I looked at a couple spots and marked them. I cancel that. One of them was this insurance agency parking lot, so that was an option. But I chose, well, there's a couple others that I looked at first. One was right next to the state park. Right here, this was the first one I kind of looked at and did some research, and this is a water treatment facility, but they do have shifts that work there, so it's probably, still maybe people going in and out, even though I was going to do this on a Saturday. But I did you can do a street level view here, and it would have been right off of this little driveway here, but there's a gate there, so I would have had to park here right off the highway, which is not really recommended for safety reasons as well as legality reasons, I think. So I kind of decided against that one. Still in ground view there. And decided on this one over here that is actually I looked, it's like, okay, well, what is all this? It's a River Valley Veterinary Clinic, and it's closed on Saturday. And there's it looks like there's no gate. Looks like it's open all the way back into here. And this is on the line, clear back here. I think this is some kind of a, big animal housing kind of thing. But from the street level, it looked like it was open. Or accessible, I should say. So yeah, looking at it, parking lot, and this parking lot goes all the way back. So that's where I actually ended up. And you'll see that I've got a video after this. Kind of shows me pulling in, that kind of thing, and part of the activation. And I cut out parts of it that were, where you're just listening to static, because that's not much fun to listen to. So cut that out. And let me get back to some of this other stuff. So that's kind of where I was. There's, as far as the rules, I had questions on how do you know, what do you need to do to be on a grid line? If you look up, go to the ARRL website and search for this, it'll come up with a couple pages. It's pretty short, just a couple pages of stuff, but there's a couple sections that are pretty important as far as, basically it says you have to be on the grid line, okay? And they want you to take pictures kind of proving that you're on the grid line. This is right here. Grid boundary lines and line corners must be established using a GPS receiver whose map datum is set to WGS84, the global default for current GPS receivers. The GPS receiver should be set to use WAAS, or Wide Area Augmentation System, if so equipped. That improves the error rate to as little as 5 feet. In no case may the GPS receiver show an error figure in excess of 20 feet. So you can't be 20 feet away. And you need to have something that's pretty accurate. And it says if the GPS is equipped with WAS, use it. If it's not, you're okay. As long as you're using the other WGS 84. I started looking up a couple of these terms, so put those in here too. So a datum is basically a GPS term. Basically just says it's a model of the Earth. It means it's a model of the Earth, and there's several different ones that have been, created over time. WGS was obviously, well, maybe not obvious, but created in 1984. And then was one in 83. The 84 one changed a little bit, made it a little more accurate. And it actually stands for World Geodetic System, 1984. And we looked that up, and it basically says it's the standard 3D coordinate system that's used, and it's used by the Department of Defense, fundamental reference systems for all GPS, et cetera, et cetera. You look at, here's some other ones. What are other datums? Okay, here's the WGS 84, and here's some ones that were prior to that, and some that are in other parts of the world. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, if you don't have a GPS, if you have a modern iPhone, good news, iPhones have actually had the WGS 84 as the reference system for its GPS on the phone since the iPhone 3 in 2008. So you should be good there. Otherwise, if you have a GPS device, you can use that as well. I actually have a Garmin, what's this thing called? The Garmin InReach Mini 2, which does have WAAS. Takes a little while to kind of find the satellites and get in sync, but I can use that as well. But iPhone works, and we're good there. There's also this, we talk about WAS. What is WAS? Yeah, it's called WAS. It's pronounced WAS, just like boss or moss. Basically, it says it's 5 times greater than other things, and that's what the FAA uses for, you got planes coming in on approach. You want to have the most accurate thing possible. So that's where this comes into play. So now that I know where I want to be, I need to figure out, okay, that's where I need to be, but what satellites are going to be there and when do I need to be there? There's another website called SatMatch, and let's see, you can't see it on here, but there's a URL that you can actually edit and change. You can actually add the satellites that you're interested in. You can put in the Gridsquare that you'll be at, the time and date, and how long you want to look for, like for 6 hours, starting at a certain time. So here is what I had at the time for, I'm going to be in this Gridsquare, looking for these satellite passes, starting at 1300 Zulu, which is 7 o'clock Central on February 7th for 6 hours. And I wanted something early because I was going to go to the park right afterwards. And primarily what I was looking for was RS-44. So I found one here. It starts at 7:30 in the morning. So I looked at this one, click on it. 59 degrees elevation, perfect. A little bit to the west. And looking at that dirt lot, this was a perfect candidate for what I wanted to do. Now you can use this, if you're going to go on vacation, 4 weeks from now, you can put in a date ahead of time and the Gridsquare you're going to be at and see what's there. I would just, highly recommend a day or two before you leave, check it again because things do change, obviously. That's why we have to update our TLEs all the time. But anyway, that is kind of what I did and a little bit about the rules. And then I'm going to have a short video that kind of shows me pulling into to that lot, and then you'll see me actually back the car up. You'll see the GPS on the camera there in the car. Back up till I get to 34. Double checked it with my phone, and then we'll actually have the pass, and I'll cut out some of the boring parts. But anyway, hope you get something out of this and enjoy watching it. Thanks.
In 600 feet, your destination will be on the left. Your destination is on the left.
All right, it is 7:31. This is RS-44, 59 degrees, northwest to south at Echo Mike 2324, Gridline.
Here's somebody a little off frequency from me. Try again. QSL, I got you. Whiskey 3, Echo Hotel Golf. Good to hear you again. I'm at Echo Mike 23 and 24. QSL? QSL, thanks for getting up so early in the morning to call me. 7-3. This is Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Echo Mike 2324. CQ Satellite, Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Gridline, Echo Mike 2324.
WA1JAY.
Hey, good morning, Jay. WA1JAY, WD5GRW, Echo Mike 23, Echo Mike 24.
Hey, good morning, Jim. I hopped on. I saw you were could be in Echo Mike 24. That's a new one for me, so thanks for roving.
Oh, QSL, yeah. Luckily, this place is open. You know, Google Earth, you never can tell, but I'm in basically a dirt field parking lot of some veterinary clinic that's closed on Saturday.
Well, that's cool. Is it very cold out there?
Well, colder than I thought. It was like almost 80 at home yesterday, and it's 41 right now.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'll let you get some more. I don't want to hold you, but thanks for the new grid. Have a good one.
All right, QSL, 7-3. What's that?
Viva.
Yeah, good morning, Gary. K2TLL, WD5GRW, Echo Mike 23, Echo Mike 24.
Roger. Fox Mike 07 here.
QSL, Gary, thanks for the shout. Always appreciated. 7-3.
73.
This is Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Gridline, Echo Mike 23 and 24. CQ satellite, Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Gridline, Echo Mike 2324. Whiskey Delta 5. Give me the call again. Kilo Zulu 5 Kilo Zulu. Kilo Juliet 5 Kilo Zulu, QSL on the Echo Mike 23 and 24, Gridline. Roger that, RJ, man, just wanted to All right, yeah, thanks for the shout this morning. It's a little cold out here, but yeah, I got you. Yes, sir, it's a little cold here too in Central Park, Texas, but it's going to warm up. I think it's going to be a nice day, so it turned out pretty good yesterday. Just a little chilly in the morning. Yeah, this one caught me off guard a little bit. I thought it'd be in North Texas as well. It's close to 80, and it's 41 here right now. It's the same here, exact same, 40 this morning, and it was supposed to get up to 80, which is going to be good. Got a lot to get done. Yeah, luckily the wind's not blowing, so no big deal. Anyway, thanks for the shout. We'll catch you later. Yes, I'll talk to you later, Jim. This is Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Gridline, Echo Mike 2324. Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Echo Mike 2324. CQ satellite, Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey, Echo Mike 23 and Echo Mike 24. WT5TRW, KB2M, EL99. KB2M, QSL, yeah, it's Gridline, Echo Mike 23 and Echo Mike 24. Echo Mike 2324, 73, Jim, thanks. QSL, 73. This is Whiskey Delta 5, Golf Romeo Whiskey.